Hey everybody, I am on for an abbreviated amount of time. It's a few minutes later than I originally intended to start, but welcome to Zinni 62 live for a Tuesday night. An interesting Tuesday night. It's an election night. Hey Jacob P, how are you? Although I'm not here to talk about, well, I am talking about policy analysis. How's that? And yeah, how's that? I'm talking about policy analysis. Hey, 31 Scott. Hey, Rainer Hernandez. Joshua, how are you? Crawford, always great to have you here, sir. How are you doing? Hello, Zinsters. Joseph True, haven't seen you in a while. Great to have you here. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. It is fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic to have all of you here. And where's Barry Lee when you need him? Barry's probably saying, so he started a little bit too late for me. I don't know. Mr. McClendon, how are you? I always like to say that. How are you? How are you? How are you? M.L. Scott, how are you? The mighty Harry Dunn, how you doing? That's the first time I've said that like that. The mighty Harry Dunn. It has a ring to it. And it could be the mighty M.L. Scott. And the M stands for mighty, but he would say the M stands for money, right? And we've got new people here, like Skim Squad, which, so hey, Crawford says, sing to you about the stadium. Sing to like Sinatra style, I guess. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. I wonder what Frank Sinatra would think of all this. He would say anything the mob probably wanted him to say. Yeah, probably that. Now, someone mentioned the election results in Virginia and New Jersey. Swing Democrat, progressive wave, and that progressive wave would might signal a move toward a political climate that wouldn't see a GOP tax cut, right? Maybe, maybe not, okay? And by the way, for those of you who said, where's Boss? I invited Boss to be on as a guest at 9:30, and however, what I may do, given the fact that I have had an unusual schedule today and plan a shorter show, is have him on another time. But let's see. Let's just. It's 9:04 right now, 12:04 in the East. Let's just see how far we get. Hey Pedro, how are you? Let's see. Where we go. So and John Mark says it's a sun. Here we go again. I cannot say sunshine day. Well, hey, I just said it. Sunshine day, sunshine day. It's a nice song. All right. Now let me come to the chase here, since all of you are here. Some of you are here, and then you came in. You came, and then you left, and you're back, and everything else. It's kind of funny how these numbers fluctuate, but whatever. I am not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on the news. The news is that on the week that the Las Vegas Stadium Authority returns to meet, have beat their vaunted stadium consultant, Jerry Mariguillo, to the punch and come up with the magic number that you can impress your friends at cocktail parties with and get them to believe that you know more about this whole GOP tax cut and its impact on the Raiders deal than they do. Well, you don't have to get them to believe, because after listening to me, you will. Okay? Now, here's the news, all right? The news is that, according to my calculations, based on a spreadsheet that I developed, which is in turn based on a spreadsheet that anyone in the entire world can download and then modify to their needs, I have estimated what the cost, that's right, I have estimated exactly what the impact of this planned and proposed GOP tax cut did I say that? It's a tax plan that results into a cut. This GOP tax plan will have on the bond issue that is proposed for the Oakland Raiders UNLV Las Vegas Stadium. That number is $29 million in additional bond debt per year. That's right, $29 million. And that actually comes to, you're saying, what does that equal, basically? Well, it's like this, okay? The money, the number, if you will, okay, is based on the additional, it should be not, let me change that. Let me do this. Make it a bit of adjustment here. And I'll explain the adjustment. And I have no problem admitting when I have made a slight estimate change there, and that's because I had 40 there. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, the number's 44 million, not 29 million. It's 44 million. $44 million, and I've made the change to the title. And let me go back here before I talk more about this, because we have a tragedy that my watchers are discussing, and I need to give the proper attention to. And that is, hold on a second, Mr. McClendon. Hold on a second. ML, what happened? ML said, can I get some prayers for my coworkers? He lost both of his sons in a horrible car accident. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, let's stop everything and hold a moment of silence for the tragedy of ML Scott's coworkers and who lost both of his sons in a horrible car accident. So a moment of silence. All right, ML. My condolences. That's very sad news indeed, and very sad news. And wow, sorry to hear that, ML. That is, yeah, prayers. Major sympathies. I'm typing here. All right, now let me go back to explaining this matter of the GOP plan and its impact, okay? And the problem is that you've got okay, here we go here. 65 annual revenue, months, years. Just looking at different things here, all right? Annual debt difference is, yeah, that's it. D36, monthly difference is there, okay? And I had that. That is there. And that. 36 is that. Monthly debt difference is that. Yeah, that is it. Okay, here we go. All right. Just want to make sure that I got all my ducks in a row here, folks. All right. So that's what I'm trying to score here. And yeah, because what happens is that when I read these numbers, there's a couple of numbers that are close to each other, so I didn't want to make sure I didn't make a mistake. All right. The annual difference. This is where I calculated it. First of all, I took the original bond, $750 million at 30 years at 4.14% or LIBOR, okay? And that has a required monthly revenue of, required monthly bond repayment or debt service, all right, of $3,641,000. But as a taxable bond issue, that, according to two people I've talked with, one of the more prominent stadium consultants in the world, stadium finance and sports finance consultants in the world, not just stadiums, but sports teams, who took a great deal of time to talk with me about this, but I can't use his name. That interest rate for the bond, if it were taxable, will come in at 9% or over, all right? So that would cause a difference of a debt service per month of $6 million, $6,034,669, okay, at 9% versus $3,641,412 at 4.14%, okay? So that difference would cause, right there, a yearly difference of, and this is where I was correct, that would cause a yearly debt difference, not a revenue difference. There's two measures here. There's a revenue difference and there's a debt difference. That would cause an annual debt difference of $29 million. That's debt. Okay? Now where the $44 million comes in is in the difference in required revenue per year to maintain a debt coverage ratio of 1.5 to 1. Okay? So I wanted to make absolutely certain I got those numbers right, because there's two numbers. And they both have to do with how the bond works. First of all, there's the amount of money the bond costs. But then the question is, okay, so how much revenue do I need? What's my target rate, right? And that's 1.5 times the debt service, okay? So we know that but the bottom line is, what's the debt service? The debt service is, what's actually, the round number is 29, but the real number is $28,719,089.77. I'll repeat. It's $28,719,089.77. All right? That's the difference, okay? So, and Bank of America right now, Mr. True, has nothing to do with this discussion. All right, and I want that understood here. This is the public bond debt only. Bank of America is a commercial loan. So Bank of America has nothing to do with this discussion. All right? This is on the bond issue that was given its initial life by the Nevada legislature October 16th of 2016 of last year, okay? That is what I'm talking about, and only that. So if there's something you guys don't understand along the way, please ask me, okay? So, but the bottom line is that, and I'm going through, these are the calculations I worked up here. I'll show you what I did, okay? It's this, excuse me. This is it, okay? So you've got monthly bond repayments the same as debt service. That's what this is. That's, you see that? And then, which over an annual period, over a period of a year, that equals this. Now, if it were 9%, it would equal that. And there's your difference, okay? That's for the debt. Now, for the required revenue here, all right, that's 5, but then it increases to, look at that. You got to have $9 million per month or $108 million per year, up from $65 million, okay, for these requirements, assuming a debt coverage ratio of 1.5, all right? Now, in case you're wondering where we're at right now, because the average annual revenue over the 7 months that has been collected is just over $4.1 million, okay? Guess what? The real debt coverage ratio, in other words, the amount of money that has been raised versus the bond debt itself, okay? That's 1.15 to 1. Why? Because they're not getting enough revenue. So you've got the revenue and it's lower than what it should be, and you've got this bond debt that's sitting there, which is at roughly $3.641 million. Okay, so you've got, it's 1.15 to 1. It's not 1.5 to 1. Now you would say, Zinni, why does that matter? And my answer to you is because you want to have, and I've said this last night and I'm repeating it, you want to have enough of a cushion, okay, to so that you can pay off bond debt without threatening the Clark County General Fund and be able to weather the storms of recessions, terrorist attacks. You would say, why are those important? Last night, remember I walked through the example of how the occupancy rate, how a 2% change in occupancy rate can sink or swim this project. It's that sensitive, okay? You can go from 90% occupancy rate to, 3%. You can go from 90% to 87% occupancy, and that can plunge this project into deficit trouble where Clark County's general fund says, oh, no, not me. You said you weren't going to do this to me. No. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm being dramatic, but I think it's quite necessary, all right? So, and something else too, folks. Yeah, as John Mark says, the Raiders deal part 2, all right? Anyone who wants to refute what I'm coming up with, all I ask you to do is make a full spreadsheet with all the bond debt numbers, the graphs, in other words, like this, okay? You can do this. Look at this, okay? I did, right? Of course, I have some background, but I feel like James Spader in Wall Street. Okay, this is mine, see? Oakland Raiders NFL bond calculator. Bond amount, $715 million. There's the annual interest rate, 4.14, bond period in years. Additional monthly bond repayment, I minimize that. Interest rate sensitivity. In other words, I basically compared 4.14% to this one if there happens to be a GOP tax plan, and then an average annual inflation rate of 6%, which is it captures what could happen in the economy later, as well as what's happening in the economy now. One could quibble over it, but you know what? You want to try a different rate? You can try your own. I'm not going to take this time to go back over the sensitivity analysis I ran last night, but my point is to show you that I have, my own model. This is the capital repayment schedule, okay, over a 30-year period, all right? And this is the increased installment interest savings, okay? So there's a lot here that I could explain to you at length, but I think given last night, some of you are probably going to not want your eyes to be, hurt again. I understand that. So anyway, so yeah, Crawford says they're going to have major problems paying that back. If the that's right. And I believe someone made a comment regarding the GOP tax plan. Hey, Rick Rice, how are you? And let's see here. Supersonic says, ML Scott, please pray for me to get some subs to save some money to pay for your mom's medical bills. We got your prayers, Supersonic. Harry Dunn says, I think this GOP tax plan will get passed because Democrats don't like giving taxpayer-funded stadiums as well. A rare issue on both sides of the aisle would actually agree on. Yeah, Harry, and not only that, President Obama brought this up before, and it was a separate bill. It wasn't part of a humongous tax plan, but it was a separate bill, and the separate bill failed. But for the Republicans to introduce this and for it to remain intact with no opposition, I haven't heard the opposition to this other than from the National Football League itself. Okay? That's huge, all right? But Joseph True asked me a question about Bank of America, and even though we're not talking about Bank of America, I will answer the question. Bank of America is not paying for cost overruns, no, or operating losses, okay? So, and Malcontent says, yeah, there are two numbers, Malcontent. First of all, the 44 million one is the difference between the revenues, and I'll go back to that, okay? It's the difference, the annual debt difference in terms of what is needed to pay for the bond, to pay for the bond debt. The 29 million, or basically 28.719 million, that is the difference between the bond debt. There's the money needed to pay it, which includes the debt coverage ratio of 1.5 to 1. In other words, you take the bond debt that's per month, multiply that times 1.5, and you get your target rate revenue that you need to come up with each month to be able to satisfy. Basically what you're saying is this. You're saying to a bond underwriter, hey, I can guarantee this money to pay off that bond. The bond underwriter, on the other hand, says, you know what, that's cool, okay, you've got that kind of money, and I can insure that bond against any default, and I'm comfortable selling this bond on the open market for you if you have that money. But with this problem, this is ugly, folks. I'm sorry. It's just ugly. And I like to see, since he's under contract with the Stadium Authority, I love to see what Jeremy comes up with respect to the tax plan, because this thing's already in trouble without the tax plan. The tax plan just makes it worse. It really does. And Joseph True asked the question. He says, if the bonds can't get paid, the general fund pays. What happens if the general fund can't pay? If the general fund decides not to pay, then the bonds default. But here's the truth to remember, folks, and that's this. The bonds haven't been sold yet. Nothing's been approved as far as the actual bond issue. No one knows what it's actually going to be, other than the fact that that bond issue has to be done if the Raiders are going to receive a $750 million check to contribute to building the stadium, all right? So without that, there's no stadium. There's no stadium. So that's just the way that goes. And that's the way that goes. Patrick M. Blackman, how are you? He says, I don't think the other 31 teams would not want to chip in for this. No! 831 Scott says, UNLV is just waiting in the shadows to come in and swoop up that $750 million and build their own stadium without having to share it with the Raiders. And that $750 million will drop to $500 million. And see, that's why I remind everybody that this isn't something that has an automatic on-off switch. because of the existence of UNLV and the way the law is written, such that UNLV gets to take over the stadium project, okay? Jordan Littlefield says Trump probably added that on purpose so that some of the Democrats would agree on it. I don't think that's it. I think it has everything to do with the NFL protest. I don't think it has anything to do with Democrats. The NFL protest and the anger that a number of conservatives have expressed toward NFL players who protest really played a powerful role in that provision. And for a set of reasons that, if you think about it, is logical. And it goes like this. Hey, we the government, under the flag that we as conservatives, or, flag or, symbolism-loving people think you as players are disrespecting, even though the players say that's not the case, we, the government, also give you a tax break. And NFL, if you're going to allow your players to protest in that way, well, guess what? We're not going to give you a tax break. Okay? That's simple soup. That's what it is right there. That's simple soup. Okay? That's simple soup. There it is. Okay? And Joseph Business says, Zinni, are you referring to the GOP tax plan in D.C. right now? Yes, I am. Emil Scott said that he emailed me some info. Let's see here. And, the accident. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got that one. Wow, that's... My condolences. My condolences on that one. I got that one. My condolences. Horrible. Jordan Littlefield says, Trump probably... I got that one. And let's see here. James McClendon says, I thought UNLV was to receive $250 million. No, not at all. UNLV has to come up with $200 million. I think it's worth, if I can, going back over. Maybe I need to go and get the. Maybe I need to go and get SB1 again. Hold on a second. Nevada. Nevada Senate Bill 1. There it is. And Las Vegas Stadium Authority. There that is. And open says me. There it is. It's opening. All right. Now I'm wondering if I can find. Let's see here. University. Yeah. The bill says, this, what I'm reading here is on page 2. It says, specifically, this bill establishes a method to finance, 1, a National Football League stadium project, or if certain conditions for a National Football League stadium project are not satisfied, a college football stadium project for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and a renovation expansion of Las Vegas Convention Center. Okay, so those are the purposes right there, okay? That's got to be understood, all right? And it says under Section 38 of this bill, if certain conditions for the undertaking of the National Football League Stadium project are not satisfied, the president of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas may elect to pursue a college football stadium project if, after the president of the university makes such an election, certain conditions are satisfied, the proceeds of the tax imposed pursuant to Section 33 of this bill must be transferred to a campus improvement authority created by Section 39 of this bill to carry out the college football stadium project under Sections 39 through 52 of this bill. If the president of the university does not elect to pursue a college football stadium project or makes such an election but fails to satisfy certain conditions, the proceeds of the tax imposed pursuant to Section 33 of this bill must be transferred to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority and used to pay the cost to renovate or expand the Las Vegas Convention Center pursuant to sections 53 through 61.7 of this bill, or the principal and interest on bonds or other securities issued for that project, which are separate from the stadium project, okay? So that tells you all you need to know right there. That's it, okay? That's it, all right? And Corey Brown says, would it help if Oakland reminded the Raiders of the offer that is still on the table? Have they done that possibly? If they have, no one's talking about it. If they're being very tight-lipped. 831 Scott says Trump doesn't like the NFL because they blackballed him from being an owner. Joseph Binsman says, well, I'm definitely against the GOP plan, huh? And why? And so Jordan Littlefoot says, why are you against it, Joseph? Exactly. Joseph says, great night in New Jersey tonight. Were the elections in Oakland or Georgia? Georgia, yes. Atlanta mayor is still up for grabs. Joseph Binsman says, because it's a horrible plan, only the rich would benefit. I get him. I get that. Jordan Littlefield says, no, the entire tax plan is about supporting small business and the middle class. Oh, here we go. Joseph Binsman says, that's what Republicans definitely want you to think. Now, Joseph has a point there. Littlefield says, no, I read it. That's what it's going to do. Joseph Binsman says, I disagree. And I have to say one thing. The tax cut isn't so much what we need as subsidies for businesses. I want my healthcare subsidy maintained. American small businesses, particularly American manufacturing businesses, need a comprehensive production subsidy program so that we can compete on the worldwide stage, maintain paying our wage levels to our workers and contractors, and yet have prices on our products that are competitive on the world market. That is what's needed. We need that all the way around, okay? So we've got, let's see here. Jordan Yancey asked me if I've seen the Nick Cannon video called Stand for What? Not yet. Love to get Nick Cannon on the show, by the way. Joseph Bismuth says, let's see here. We have somebody kind of fooling around here, so I'm basically not going to fool around, and I'm going to remove that person. And I'm not even going to mention that person's name. So, Joseph Binsman says that's what the Republicans want to do with Obamacare, given the rich a big tax cut. The rich are the only Americans they care about. 831 Scott says, I don't see how giving the top 1% a tax break is going to help small business and the middle class. Neither do I. We've been there before. It's called the trickle-down theory, right? Doesn't work, all right? So, it just like, yeah. Yeah, amen, 831 Scott. Amen. So on the 9th, on the 9th of October, that's this Thursday, the Las Vegas Stadium Authority will take up this GOP tax plan, and I understand Aaron Grill will give his special presentation, but hey, you know what? You could jump the gun, all right? And you could say, you know what, hey, Zinni's got the numbers. In fact, I'm going to put this out there, and I'm going to share it with, of all people, Stephen Hill. Stephen Hill, that's right. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to tag it on his Twitter account. Boom. And I'm going to say, S. Hill for Nevada. That's right. S. Hill for Nevada. So we've got, let's see here. Hey, by the way, Darrell Issa was rated this morning by roll call as the most vulnerable incumbent in the House. He is the California representative. He's getting challenged by Mike Levin. So there's Steve Hill for Nevada. I'm following him. And let's see here. Got here and there. Boom. Got it. Okay. Now, where are we with you guys? All right. Let's see here. All right. Something else I want to clean up or clear up, folks, because I'm going to sign off in a little bit just to get some rest because I'm exhausted. Again, someone is out there saying that I used a tax rate from 1980. I did not. The tax rate, this is what I want to get out to you, all right? That's not how this works. First of all, when you are evaluating a bond issue when a bond issue was created here, this tax rate doesn't come from a particular year. This is a tax rate that you're aiming for because you believe you can sculpt a tax-exempt bond and get it structured at 4.1%, and those bonds can be sold, all right? But taxable is going to go to that. That's got nothing to do with the 80s or the 90s. So anyone who says something like that to you immediately is branding themselves an idiot. You can complete the picture by simply saying, you know what, you just simply don't know what you're talking about, okay? All right, and then as far as the tax revenue, the tax rate, for the hotel tax, that was determined by the Southern Nevada Tourism and Infrastructure Committee, and then is poured into the Southern Nevada Tourism and Infrastructure Act. Tourism and Investment Act. Want to see? I'll show you. And I'm going to go back for proof of this, I'm going to go back to my handy dandy bill. Senate Bill 1, which is here, okay? And then I'm going to type in search, find, and I'm looking for tax, and I found it, okay? I'm going to show you this so that you'll know that I'm not making it up and I'm actually reading this to you. You ready? Here we go. Right here. See, it says Section 33. It says, Section 33 of this bill requires the Board of County Commissioners of Clark County to impose a tax on persons in the business of providing lodging in the stadium district at the rate of 1/88/100% of the gross receipts from the rental of transient lodging located in the primary gaming corridor in the stadium district, and 1/2% of the gross receipts from the rental of transient lodging in all other areas of the stadium district, which are much smaller, I might add. Section 34 of this bill sets forth the purposes for which the county and the stadium authority must use the proceeds of the tax. Section 36 of this bill requires the Board of County Commissioners of Clark County to issue general obligations of the county in an amount not to exceed $750 million if certain conditions are satisfied, and prescribe the procedures for the issuance of those general obligations. Section 36 also requires the proceeds from the issuance of the general obligations to be distributed to the stadium authority and used for certain purposes related to the National Football League stadium project. If an NFL team does not commit to locate or relocate to the stadium district within a certain period of time, or if certain other conditions are not satisfied, Section 38 of this bill authorizes the president of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas to pursue a college football stadium project. Okay? So my point is, it's all right there. I'm not making it up. That tax rate that someone said, there was he's using a 1980 number, it's set in stone in the law. I just read it to you. So anybody who says that, that's weird. Okay, we're back. All right, so that's weird. was really weird. Hold on, folks. I got some weird technical stuff going on here. I'm going to switch browsers. See if that does it. Hold on. Yeah, I'm back. It's just, I'm back and I can see you, but my dashboard, it had something to do with the Wi-Fi. So I went to the phone and I'm pulling off the phone because the Wi-Fi was being weird. So why? I don't know. It just was. And it says there's no internet connection. And I don't know why. That's really weird. It says I should reconnect to Wi-Fi. Maybe I will, but it's been really weird. Let me try this. Let me try turning it on again and see what happens, because that was weird. Reload. It's having connection issues. Now it's like it's slow to come up here. And I don't know why. Let me try something else here. YouTube. This is rather weird. I'm glad you guys can hear each other, or, you know, have that going. It says no internet connection. This is weird. Hold on. Photos. Quit iTunes. Force quit iTunes. See if that does it. And then go back here. Let's see what happens. It's very unusual. YouTube. Okay. Look at YouTube on this one. Sorry for this, folks. I know you can see me. This is great. But I can't see your chats because the dashboard won't permit. Something weird is going on here. But at any rate, and I get a spinning. That's spinning. I don't know why that is. Never happened before. Let's see here. Okay. I'm wondering if this is an issue with just YouTube, or yeah, I can't get. It's the connection to tonight. I can hear you. Yeah. I can. Can you hear? Yeah, I'm here. But this laptop's being weird. I'm back, but see, this is. Can you guys see me or not? Because I can't see. You can see me, but I can't see what you're typing, and will give me the normal display. It's spinning like this. See, take a look. Right? See, it's spinning. Okay, this is what I'm getting. Server not found. All that stuff. I mean, obviously something is working there. So what's going on? I don't know. How that happened or why? I don't know. But there's definitely some glitch, and it has to do with something's going on here. If I try to turn the Wi-Fi off and just go on to my phone with a personal hotspot, right? That's not happening. Hold on a second. Oh boy, oh boy. This is going live. see, even then, like for example, when I set it down, it had the camera pointing the other way. Yeah, and then when I set it down, the camera was pointing this way, and all of a sudden it flicked back that way. That was really weird. Maybe someone's figured out how to hack into this, but you know, I don't imagine how or why. This is weird. It's not. I cannot get the dashboard. I can't see the dashboard at all. I'm gonna do a restart of the computer. Let's see what that does. Yeah, shut that down and I'll restart it. That's really weird, folks. I don't understand why that's happening. It's never happened before, ever. Maybe it's solar flares. Maybe it's something. And it says the internet might be down. Try restart computer and then recorrect Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's what I think is going on. I think the internet's down. But see, if I work it off the phone, and I have the phone connected to the computer, all right, and the phone, it should work. All right, and yeah, I'm restarting. Well, the router right now is the phone itself for me. Okay, I'm working off the phone, and I'm using the personal hotspot system for the computer, but so it should work. But right now, I'm restarting the computer in its entirety. All right. So that's what's happening right now. Okay. Yeah. So as far as Kim Jong-un, and I didn't hear the speech that President Trump gave. My mom liked it. And my mom's not a Trump supporter. But she liked it, okay? Jacob says, well, okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. YouTube. Cancel that. YouTube is, here's YouTube, I think. Yes. It looks like I get my channel, because I'm getting this, right? This is what I'm getting. Chrome. The shutdown Chrome. So I'll quit Chrome, then I'll go here, live now, right? And then you do that. It says server not found. That's weird, okay? Okay. Quit now. Back here. It says server not found there. Clear my browser cache. Yeah, I'll do that. You know, wow. But here's the thing. If I just quit Firefox and I go over to, let me turn on the personal hotspot. That. Activated. All right. Yeah, okay, so I've reactivated the personal hotspot, right? So now I go to YouTube here. Push that button. And, okay, so there's live now. And it would seem after a lot of ado, we are back. Boy, that's crazy. Sorry about that, folks. It was worth sticking in, you know, there, or sticking with it, right? But we're back. I'm back. Well, I was always back from your perspective, but I couldn't see your comments, right? So thank you. It's nice to be back. Who's your daddy? And let's see here. 831 Scott says of Trump's speech, it was scary. It looks like war is coming. John Mark says, 831 Scott says, what I took out of that speech is Trump is trying to get the support of our allies because he's planning some kind of retaliation if North Korea launches another missile. Hey, I didn't hear the speech again, but the White House may have sent me a copy of the transcript because I'm on the White House press list and I just didn't check, right? So hold on a second. Let me see here. Let's see, there's White House. Pool report, remarks by President Trump. I have it. It was sent to me 2 hours ago. Remarks by President Trump to the National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, Seoul, Republic of Korea. All right? And it reads, President Trump, Assembly Speaker Chung. This is President Trump talking. So this is going to be my Trump imitation, if you will. President Trump says, Assembly Speaker Chung, distinguished members of the Assembly, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the extraordinary privilege to speak in this great chamber and to address your people on behalf of the people of the United States. Hey, he used a sentence where he had the same word in one sentence twice. Anyway, in our short time in your country, Melania and I have been awed by its ancient and modern wonders, and we are deeply moved by the warmth of your welcome. Last night, President and Mrs. Moon showed us incredible hospitality in a beautiful reception at the Blue House. We had productive discussions on increasing military cooperation and improving the trade relationship between our nations on the principle of fairness and reciprocity. Should be principles. Who wrote this thing? Through this entire visit, it has been both our pleasure and our honor to create and celebrate a long friendship between the United States and the Republic of Korea. The alliance between our nations was forged in the crucible of war and strengthened by the trails of history. You notice how I gesticulate like Trump does? Yes, all right, okay. From the Incheon landings to Port Chop Hill, American and South Korean soldiers have fought together, sacrificed together, and triumphed together. Almost 67 years ago, in the spring of 1951, they recaptured what remained of this city where we are gathered so proudly today. It was the second time in a year that our combined forces took on steep casualties to retake this capital from the communists. Over the next week and months, the men soldiered through steep mountains and bloody battles. Driven back at times, they willed their way north to form the line that today divides the oppressed and the free. And there, American and South Korean troops have remained together, holding that line for nearly 7 decades, to which there was a pause. By the time the armistice was signed in 1953, more than 36,000 Americans had died in the Korean War, with more than 100,000 others very badly wounded. They are heroes, and we honor them. We also honor and remember the terrible price the people in your country paid for their freedom. You lost hundreds of thousands of brave soldiers and countless innocent civilians in that gruesome war. Much of this great city of Seoul was reduced to rubble. Large portions of the country were scarred, severely hurt by this horrible war. The economy of this nation was demolished. But as the entire world knows, over the next 2 generations, something miraculous happened on the southern half of the peninsula. Family by family, city by city, the people of Seoul, South Korea, built this country into what today is one of the great nations of the world. And I congratulate you. Applause. And in less than one lifetime, South Korea climbed from total devastation to among the wealthiest nations on earth. Today, your economy is more than 350 times larger than what it was in 1960. Trade has increased 1,900 times. Life expectancy has risen from just 53 years to more than 82 years today. Like Korea, and since my election exactly 1 year ago today, I celebrate with you. Applause. The United States is going through something of a miracle itself. Our stock market is at an all-time high. Unemployment is at a 17-year low. We're defeating ISIS. And I thank Barack Obama for all of this. No, just kidding. we strengthen. I couldn't resist, okay? We are strengthening our judiciary, including a brilliant Supreme Court justice, and on and on and on. Currently, stationed at the vicinity of the peninsula are the 3 largest aircraft carriers in the world, loaded to the maximum with magnificent F-35 and F-18 fighter jets. In addition, we have nuclear submarines appropriately positioned. The United States under my administration is completely rebuilding its military and is spending hundreds of millions of dollars to the newest and finest military equipment anywhere in the world being built right now. I want peace through strength. Applause. We're helping the Republic of Korea far beyond what any other country has ever done. And in the end, we will work things out far better than anybody understands or can even appreciate. I know that the Republic of Korea, which has become a tremendously successful nation, will be a faithful ally of the United States very long into the future. Applause. What you have built is truly an inspiration. Your economic transportation was linked to a political one. The proud, sovereign, and independent people of your nation demanded the right to govern themselves. You secured free parliamentary elections in 1988, the same year you hosted your first Olympics. Soon after, you elected your first civilian president in more than 3 decades. And when the republic you won faced financial crisis, you lined up by the millions to give your most prized possessions, your wedding rings, heirlooms, and your gold luck keys, to restore the promise of a better future for your children. Applause. Your wealth is measured in more than money. It is measured in achievements of the mind and achievements of spirit. Over the last several decades, your scientists of engineers, this wording is really weird. It should say your scientists and engineers, but it says your scientists of engineers. I have to be candid, this is not the best the White House can do. And whoever wrote this isn't serving the president well. Your scientists and engineers that's what it should read. Your scientists and engineers. Your scientists and engineers have engineered so many magnificent things. You pushed the boundaries of technology, pioneered miraculous medical treatments, and emerged as leaders in unlocking the mysteries of our universe. Korean authors penned roughly 40,000 books this year. Korean musicians fill concert halls all around the world. Young Korean students graduate from college at the highest rates of any country. And Korean golfers are some of the best on earth. Applause. In fact, and you know what I'm going to say, the Women's U.S. Open was held this year at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, and it just happened to be won by a great Korean golfer, Sung-Yoon Park. An 8th of the top 10 players were from Korea, and the top 4 golfers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the top 4 were Korean. Congratulations. Applause. Congratulations. And that's something. That is really something. Here in Seoul, architectural wonders like the 63 building and the Luck World Tower, very beautiful, grace the sky, and house the workers of many growing industries. Your citizens now help to feed the hungry, fight terrorism. This is a very long speech, folks. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you get the idea. This is long, 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 and then long some more. So I'm sure to lose you. But I'm going to pick out some parts that I think are quite interesting. Here's one. Anyone who doubts the strength or determination of the United States should look to our past, and you will doubt it no longer. We will not permit America or our allies to be blackmailed or attacked. We will not allow American cities to be threatened with destruction. We will not be intimidated, and we will not let the worst atrocities in history be repeated here. On this ground, we fought and died so hard to secure. Applause. North Korea is the paradise your grandfather envisioned. It is a hell that no person deserves. Yet, despite every crime you have committed against God and man, you are ready to offer, and we will do that, we will offer a path to a much better future. It begins with an end to the aggression of your regime, a stop to your development of ballistic missiles, and complete, verifiable, and total denuclearization. Applause. The sinister regime of North Korea is right about only one thing. The Korean people do have a glorious destiny, but they cannot be more wrong about what the destiny looks like. The destiny of the Korean people is not to suffer in the bondage of oppression, but to thrive in the glory of freedom. Now that's a great line. That's a great line, okay? So anyway, it ends with it ends pretty well, okay? I mean, it's long. It starts off rocky, very poorly worded, some grammatical errors and mistakes, and it finishes strong. All right? I mean, I'll have to say it finishes strong. It is, I can, candidly say I find little wrong with that speech. I thought it was appropriately aggressive, given the subject matter, in part, North Korea, and yet not overly so. I liked it. Okay? I mean, I liked it. So there you go, folks. There you go, all right? So yeah, so hey, Joseph, I didn't say he wrote the speech. I didn't hear him say it. I'm only reading to you what was sent to me by the White House. Okay? So, and I'm only giving you my first reaction because I didn't hear it at all. My mom heard it. She liked it. I'm like, oh, come on. But I could see, hey, look, he could have done a lot worse. And he has. So you got to give him credit when he gets better. This was better. Okay? Metal 420 says, what does this have to do with the Raiders? Well, you were late. Let's put it that way. You're late. You're late to the party, okay? So, Jordan says, if this was an Obama speech, you guys would love it. Well, actually, if it were Obama's speech, it would have been better. It would have flowed better, okay, at the start. But I will tell you what, it actually ended like an Obama speech. It really did. I mean, I have to say, as a person who's followed Obama, for years and who's an Obama blogger, that's the first speech that Donald Trump has given that at the end was most Obama-like. Seriously, all right? So James McClendon says, like Marvin Gaye said in one of his great songs, what's going on here? War is not the answer. We need some loving here today. Yep, that's right. And, Jordan Littlefield says, whoever wrote Obama's speeches was good at making speeches. Well, Obama wrote his speeches. And then his speechwriters kind of, clean up things here and there, right? So, yeah, there you go. All right? That's what he did. So, that's it. Metal 420, you came late. I'm actually on a little longer than I was going to be, and I'm going to sign off. And the way this works, my fans wanted to talk about politics, and after we talked about the Raiders, and we talked about the title, so the title isn't misleading, and you're late. Sorry. That happens, okay? So, 831 Scott says, I give him credit for calling Kim a Rocket Man. Rocket Man. All right, speaking of Rocket Man, this Rocket Man is off to sleep. Be back tomorrow. As John Marks, as you'll say, you'll bet your last money. It all has been a stolen gas honey. And Jordan Littlefield, how old are you? Jordan, I'll bet you're not. How old are you? Jordan Littlefield, how old are you? Hello? How old are you? John Mark says, watch horror films, keep America strong. Who's Your Daddy says, we latecomers can always watch the recording. Yep. Jordan Littlefield, how old are you? Never mind why, just how old are you? Please. Hey, thank you very much for the compliment on the Trek shirt. Jordan Littlefield, how old are you? Hello? How old are you? Hello? How old are you? Jordan Littlefield, how old are you? How old are you? Hello? How old are you? Look, if you don't tell me how you are, I'm going to block you, all right? How old are you? All right, then fine, I'm blocking you. You don't want to put your age out there. Okay, okay, look, 17. All right, good. You're 17 years old. You weren't even around when Reagan was. I'm 55, okay? Don't tell me about Ronald Reagan. You don't know squat about Ronald Reagan. Squat, okay? Nothing. You know nothing of Reagan. Nothing. Ronald Reagan put my father as air traffic controller out of work because they struck for better working conditions, all right? So don't talk to me about that. Ronald Reagan ended the American domination, Boeing company in particular, and in air travel, and laid the foundation for the end, as of Tuesday, of the use of the 747 by the major carriers, in particular United Airlines, because the airlines didn't get the subsidies they used to get, all right? So don't talk to me about that. You know nothing about Reagan, just stuff you read and you want to believe. You know nothing, all right? Nothing. Okay? So don't say this, all right? The good things that Reagan did were he put the assault weapons ban on, and he put a ban on AR-15. We now call AR-15s, all right? Fine. But Ronald Reagan he made this economy great if you wanted to get rich fast. If you were a Wall Streeter. Okay? That's what he did. The economy did better for more people under President Clinton, and then later Obama, than Reagan. And that's a fact. That's a fact. So, sorry. I mean, look. Just admit that you don't know something, all right? You can't be 17 and have any idea at all about a president who was alive when I was alive and you weren't even thought of. I mean, come on. I mean, just be honest about that with yourself. You're only 17. And I'm not being insulting. I'm being honest. You are 17. You're not 67 or 57 or 47. All right? So what you got? You got nothing. Oh my gosh. Why don't you ask questions? Like say, hey, Zenny, what was it like then for you? What do you remember about Reagan as president? That's an intelligent question. But don't talk to me as if you know things about presidents that were active before you were born. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Yeah, unbelievable. All right? John Marks is around, all right? Everything else, okay? And then Metal says tax and spend doesn't work. Now here we go, all right? And Metal's one of these same people who doesn't know crap. Reagan was the greatest tax and spender there was, but he did it on defense spending. Okay? Jeez Louise. You know how I know that? Because that was Reaganomics and defense spending was the centerpiece of my senior thesis at UTA and its impact on economic development. It's like I say, don't talk to me about stuff that you don't know about. Because you don't know, okay? You don't know. You just don't know. At all. I mean, at all. You don't know. All right? Jeez, okay? Man. Man. I mean, I can't believe it, right? Man. Jordan, wasn't great. Okay, we didn't have it that great. You know, when Reagan was, I remember when I was in high school at Skyline, this is 1980, and Reagan threatened to reinstate the draft. We were all going to move, and then we always thought the guy was like, woohoo, so he was going to, like, you know, get us into the brink of nuclear war. And it did look like that. It took a real risk with the Soviet Union. We were all ready to leave. Okay? And Reagan ushered in an era of austerity economics that through quite literally what Ronald Reagan did was he and Paul Volcker of the Federal Reserve threw a choke chain around the economy. They changed the way the economy is controlled to a degree by the Federal Reserve from interest rate policy to monetary policy. What's the difference? The difference is that instead of looking at like bond interest rates and credit card interest rates, they're looking at the whole of monetary of the money supply, M1. Now, if you're 17 years old, you haven't even taken macroeconomics in college. I mean, that's how far behind you are. So the stuff that I'm talking to you about is going over your head, man. And so if you're at all intelligent, you're at the stage where you need to ask questions instead of telling people things. You know nothing. I mean, zero. Okay? Zero. All right? All right? People suffer under any president. All right? Look, Jordan, ask a question. If you don't ask a question, I'm banning you. This is not that, okay? You're annoying me. Because you're 17, you don't know anything, and you don't ask any questions. And yet you act like you know things. You know nothing. Nothing. Okay? You don't even know who Paul Volcker is. You don't know the difference between money supply and the interest rate. You don't know what monetary policy is. You don't even know who Milton Friedman is. You know nothing. You don't know ISLM. Do you know what the IS curve is in macroeconomics? Do you know what that is? Do you know what LM stands for? IS is interest rate. LM is money supply. Do you know how to make the 4 factors graph? Okay? No. You know nothing about that. Nothing. I am this close to banning you for life. So you get your act together, young man. And I mean it. Yeah, ban him. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get Lightfoot out of here. I don't want to see him. Get out of here. Move. Out. Out. Get out. Out. You too, Metal. I'm tired of it. Out. You're gone. You're gone. Out. Not on my channel. You can't be stupid on my channel. It's not a matter of voicing your opinion. Be intelligent. Have a take. Okay? I'm not the first to have that either. Hey man, Jim Rome started that a long time ago. So did JT the Brick. I'm not the first. Free speech doesn't mean you coming to my channel and saying stupid things. I'm sorry. You want to do that? Start your own live stream and say stupid things. But if you're here and you're talking to someone who's 55 years old, who not only lived that, but took 24 economics courses. 24. Get him out of here, John Marks. Out of here. Metal, get your butt out of here. I don't want to see you. You come here with another screen name, and I'm going to block your IP address. I don't want you around. Get out. Okay? I mean it. I'm tired of people who don't want to learn and just want to spout out crap. And you're 17. I mean, what's the world coming to? I mean, seriously. All right? I mean, how do you learn in school with that kind of attitude? This is a school night, right? Am I not mistaken? Is this not a school night? All right? Thanks, John Mark. This is a school night. This is they have to go to school in the morning. Okay? So he's 7. If he's really 17, he should be in bed to begin with, unless he's in Hawaii or something. Unbelievable. Okay? He caused me to reignite knowledge and discussions haven't had in decades, and books that I have on my shelf that I haven't read in quite a while. All right? And my point is that, and I'm going to make something absolutely clear. It upsets me. Look, if that person had said this, he says, you know what? I'm a big fan of neoliberal economics, or I'm a neoliberal or neoconservative, and I'm 17, I don't understand, I'm reading about this. Can you explain? That's respect. But to come up as if just because something he read online that fits with an ideology he's decided for some real weird reason he wants to maintain. I guess it's probably great we didn't have the internet when I was coming up. We had to actually sit down, one book to read in terms of economics, right? And you know what, I'll tell you, in fact, this is a really great point. Excuse me. I remember when I first entered Texas, Arlington, I took a course in microeconomics. And microeconomics is really the economics of consumerism and spending, all right? And now, there are conservative microeconomists and there are liberal ones. And I went in Texas, Arlington, I had a couple of economics professors who were conservative. And they detested rent control. Okay, I love rent control for obvious reasons, right? It controls your rent. And they were talking about how it's bad for the market, yada, yada, yada. And I said, well, subsidies, we had this argument. But I was so busy arguing with them. And remember, how old was I at the time? I was 19. I was so busy arguing with them that I didn't learn the techniques of microeconomics. I didn't pay attention. And so deservedly so, I got a D. I learned a lesson. The lesson that I learned was this. If I want to form a sound economic argument, I have to learn the language of microeconomics and economics. I have to understand the math. I have to understand how to graph data. I have to understand, not only have to graph data, but also have to take, for example, the ISLM curve or utility curves and use common economic models to explain my point of view and then compare it with a conservative point of view. I had to learn the art of rigorous thinking, which, has really taken a holiday today. Okay? And to the point where, hey, I got a B+, and then I got an A. And it got to the point where I loved microeconomics. I already but I loved the language, okay? And that's what annoys me about him, because when I took those courses, it was the early 80s. And who was our president? Ronald Reagan. So I was right in the heart of all that. And so here he comes, Mr. Little, whatever his last name is, today, and he's 17, he's spewing all this stuff. I'm like, oh, seriously, dude? No. Come on. So no, I can say what I want to say. No, not everyone can't say what they want to say everywhere. It's like, if that's the case, it's like being invited to a party at someone's house. And then all of a sudden you're going to get in an argument and say what you want to say. just to start arguing with people. Well, then you'll upset the guests. That's not a good thing. If that's not free speech, then this isn't free speech either. This is a party, okay? This is a party. This is a group. Sometimes it's a big party, sometimes it's an intimate party, but it's a party of people. And if I come into the group, I don't come spouting things off and like, I know more than this person, even though I haven't studied it. I don't do that. So no, that's if he had come with a different take, if he had said, I read this, that's a great place to start a conversation. Because I could say, okay, well, this is what I experienced, and this is what I remember. And you could say, well, I read this thing by this economist. All right? And it looked like the data read this. That's cool. That's a smart conversation. All right. Phew. Just like Joseph Biden said, he just spouted opinions. And Joseph Biden says, I'd rather strengthen the education system so young punks like that actually learn. Yeah. Well, yeah. And John Mark says, what Jordan and Metal did showed a lot of disrespect. Exactly. Most of all, that's what got me. It was the disrespect part. It was the disrespect part. But, anyway, folks, it's 1:38, and I'm up later than I intended to be. So I think part of the reaction is, well, as they say, I'm glad I amused somebody. Joseph Bismuth says, I suspected he was racist and conservative a while ago. Well, too bad. So for those of you 32 who are watching and are, so amused, there you are. But I also hope you realize that you just witnessed a problem in modern society with respect to what I call the war on rigorous thinking. Some people just don't want to think. And again, rigorous thinking doesn't mean you have to come up with the answer that I have, but you understand a process by which to form an argument as opposed to just saying stuff. I'm going to get some sleep. All right, good night, everybody. Good night. I'm going to get some good sleep. Good night. Yep. Jason McClendon, thank you. Mr. McClendon, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. You got it. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Hey, sorry Godfather Grizz couldn't be with you. He'll be back. He's working. I'll see you all. Thanks again. See ya. Thank you. Good night. See ya.